I want you to watch a single moment in slow motion. It lasts about 4 seconds, and you've lived it 1,000 times. There's a task in front of you, the important one, the one that actually matters. And right as you go to start it, you feel something. A small flicker of discomfort. Boredom. Dread. The vague sense that you don't even know where to begin. And then, almost without deciding to, your hand moves. To your phone, to another tab, to anything else. The discomfort lifts. You feel better. That's it. That's the moment. And here's what nobody tells you about those 4 seconds. You just took out a loan. You borrowed a feeling of relief and you didn't read the terms. You're not lazy. You're in debt. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how the loan works, who ends up paying it back, and how to stop signing your name to it. Let's call it what it is, the relief loan. And to understand it, you have to drop the story you've been told. You've been taught that procrastination is a discipline problem, like bad time management or weak willpower. So you've tried the planners, the apps, the color-coded schedules, and you've watched every one of them stop working within a week. That's the clue. If this were really about managing time, better time management tools would fix it. They don't, because you were never struggling with time. The strongest research points somewhere else entirely. Psychologists like Tim Pitchell and Fuchsia Surwa describe procrastination as a short-term mood repair, winning out over your long-term goals. In plain terms, when a task makes you feel something unpleasant, avoiding it makes that feeling vanish. The relief is real, and anything that hands you instant relief, your brain will want to do again. So here's the loan laid out. The task brings up a bad feeling. You avoid it. You get relief. And that's the cash, up front. It feels free, but it's not free, because the task didn't go anywhere. It's still sitting there, except now it's closer to the deadline, and your brain has quietly learned something dangerous. Avoiding worked. The bad feeling stopped. So next time the discomfort shows up, the pull to escape is even stronger. That's the interest. Every time you borrow relief, the next loan gets easier to take and more expensive to repay. Look at the cycle, because the whole trap is in this one picture. Feeling. Avoid. Relief. And the relief loops back and makes the next feeling bigger. The deadline creeps closer. The task grows teeth. By the end, you're not avoiding a report anymore. You're avoiding a mountain of dread you built yourself, one small loan at a time. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because the loan is compounding exactly the way loans do. Which leaves the one question we've been circling. If you're borrowing all this relief, who actually pays it back? Because it isn't who you think, and once you see who ends up holding the bill, you can't unsee it. The bill goes to a stranger, specifically the version of you that exists next week. Now you'd assume future you is just, well, you. But psychologist Hal Hershfield found something unsettling. When people picture their future selves, the brain treats that future person less like themselves and more like someone else entirely. A stranger who happens to share your name. And that explains everything. When you put the task off, it doesn't feel like you're hurting yourself. When current you gets the relief, the version of the work that's rushed, that causes panic, and the work that needs an all-nighter to finish lands on that other person down the line. And it is so easy to hand a bill to a stranger. It's why saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," feels so convincing, but it's a pure lie. You picture tomorrow's you as rested, motivated, and ready. But tomorrow you'll wake up holding the same task, the exact same dread, just with less time. Plus the interest you just added. You didn't escape the work. You mailed it to someone, with a note that says, "Not my problem." And here's where most people make it dramatically worse. After you procrastinate, what do you do to yourself? You turn against yourself. You start calling yourself lazy or pathetic, yet still fall down the trap of not doing anything. The belief is that being hard on yourself keeps you in line. In reality, it can do the opposite, and now you know exactly why. Shame is a bad feeling, so you've just attached a fresh layer of pressure to the task. The next time you face it, it'll feel heavier, way more loaded than before, which means the urge to take another relief loan doubles. Self-criticism isn't discipline. It's a surcharge. It raises the interest rate on the very loan you're trying to stop taking, and the research here is genuinely surprising. People who forgive themselves for procrastinating go on to procrastinate less, not because forgiveness is soft, but because it's the only thing that stops the surcharge. So if procrastination is a loan you keep taking to escape a feeling, then beating it means changing the feeling, not hunting for more willpower. Here are 4 ways to stop taking the loan. None of them are about trying harder, and all of them are about lowering the cost of starting, just until avoidance stops being the easier option. 1. Shrink the task until it's too small to hate. The fear is attached to the size of the job. For example, when your boss says, "Write the report," it becomes a mental wall. But if you were to think, "Open the document and write one bad sentence," then it would crack that wall and make the task seem stupidly simple. You're not trying to finish. You're trying to make starting feel so small, there's basically nothing to avoid. Make the first step embarrassingly easy. Dread can't survive a task that small. 2. Move first and wait for the feeling second. You've had this backwards your whole life. You think motivation comes first, and the action follows. In reality, for most things, it's the other way around. Once you start, that's when the wanting shows up. The motivation you've been waiting for is in the other side of beginning. It's not in front of it. So stop waiting to feel ready. Being ready is what happens after you've started a task. 3. Commit now. So the panicked version of you won't get a vote. There's a simple tool psychologists call an if-then plan. You decide, in advance, exactly when and where you'll act, making decisions like, if it's 9 in the morning, then I write for 10 minutes before I go on my phone. Basically, you make the call once, when you're in a calm moment, just so that, when the uncomfortable moment arrives, there's nothing left to negotiate. The decision already exists. It's future you's job to follow through. 4. The one that matters most, because it's the one that almost nobody does. When you slip, and you will, don't punish yourself for it. Not because you've earned a free pass, but because, to recall, the shame is the interest. Every time you call yourself lazy and broken, you'll end up making every task heavier, which ends up making the next loan all the more appealing to take. So when you fall off, the move isn't to beat yourself up about it. It's to forgive it fast, then continue making that one small step. That isn't going soft on yourself. It's the one thing that breaks the cycle. So let's go back to that 4-second moment. That one task sitting in front of you. The little flicker of discomfort. Your hand already starting to move, but this time you see it for what it really is. Not a character flaw. Not proof that you're broken. Just a loan offer. You see the relief right now, but you finally see the interest that's to be paid later, by no one else but yourself. The difference now is you actually get to decline that offer. So what do you do instead? You make the task feel smaller. You start before you even feel ready. And when you still don't do it, you don't punish the stranger. You protect them. You protect them because that stranger is the one person in the whole world who's guaranteed to become no one else but you. You're not lazy. You never really were. You've just been borrowing against a future that hasn't happened yet. So once you stop accepting the loans that come your way, that future you gets to keep 100% of the profits that you'll make by starting now. Every video on this channel hopes to do this exact thing, to help you realize something new and to make invisible moves that alter the way your mind works, just so you can finally make the necessary choices. If that's the kind of thing you want more of, then please like and subscribe. Comment down below on what other topics you want me to shed some light on.